Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to talk about AMC, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the SEC investigating all the exchanges. Now, before I get into the very good news dealing with AMC, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. So if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section of YouTube. All right, so the first thing I want to get into is I'm very excited about is AMC. It closed out on regular trading hours at $22.18. It also closed in the after hours at $22.45. So that's very encouraging, especially going into next week. Now, I believe that next week we have the CPI numbers, but you know what? The way that the markets have been acting, for all we know, it could have a reverse effect. They could announce that inflation is up even more, and maybe the stock market will go down for a few hours during the day of, and then after it picks back up. So what actually took place, besides the price going up the way that it did, and that I know part of that had to deal with the shorts having to cover for that week. There was a lot of short positions that had to have been covered. So what actually took place, AMC losses narrow, theater chain rewards retail investors with APE Dividend. All right, so as far as their second quarter results, they didn't lose as much. I think they missed their earnings by just a little bit. But the main thing is that they are rewarding people who own AMC with an APE Dividend. Okay, and this is the press release from AMC Theaters. AMC announced today that it has declared a special dividend of one AMC preferred equity unit, an APE preferred equity unit, for each share of AMC Class A common stock, par value 1 cent per share, outstanding at the close of business on August 15th, 2022. The special dividend is expected to be paid at the close of business on August the 19th, 2022. So that basically that's what that is telling me, is that on August the 15th, whatever shares that you have, so if you have 300 shares, you're going to get 300 APE preferred shares. All right, so, and I don't know where the price is going to be by the time August the 15th hits too as well. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the CPI numbers coming out next week, or if it's going to have an effect on AMC. But, I have enough AMC, but if it does dip below that $20 mark, maybe I'll pick up maybe I'll pick up a couple here and there up until the 15th. So it all depends on where the price is going to be at around that time. The company has applied to list this AMC preferred equity unit on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol APE starting August the 22nd, and each AMC preferred equity unit is designed to have the same economic and voting rights as one share of common stock, right? So it's the same economic, right? So we're looking at possibly APE being just as valuable, if not more valuable, than where AMC is at right now. So say, for instance, if you had 300 stocks and let's say APE came out at $22.18, then basically doubled everything that you have as far as your AMC holdings, right? And who knows what's going to happen once APE is listed and it's trading and all that. So you want to make sure that you hold on to all your stocks. You don't want to try to sell it between the August the 15th and August the 22nd, I believe. So just be aware and just hold on to those through that time period. Okay. Also, too, as a show of appreciation to our shareholders and to celebrate this AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend, AMC will be issuing an exclusive I Own APE NFT. All 765,000 current AMC Investor Connect members and new members who join by August the 31st, 2022 will be eligible to receive for free this unique NFT to symbolize the ownership of the new AMC Preferred Equity Unit security. In addition, based on the popularity of the original I Own AMC NFT issued on January 2022, AMC Investor Connect current members and new members who have joined by August the 31st also will be entitled to receive an updated version of the original I Own AMC NFT. All right, so you have to get with the AMC Investor Connect members. I'm going to go ahead and go through the process and see what that's all about. Okay, so one of the things that I want to talk about, remember we talked about the pounce, right? We did the videos on the Adam Aaron, and you talked about pouncing on the shorts. And this is what he tweeted dealing with this, right? He says, candidly, I've seen no evidence of so-called fake or synthetic shares exist, but many of you disagree. This preferred equity dividend goes only to company-issued shares, so it will have the impact of a share count or unique dividend many of you have sought. Right, so that's what this does. They're going to be able to figure out if there's synthetic shares or not. So before this happens, you might see all these different shorts trying to cover on AMC. Now I'm just going to read something to you from the AMC stock community on Reddit. Right, APE explained in brief. The APE dividend is a preferred stock share. Dividend ratio is 1-to-1. Example, if you own 10 shares of AMC, you will receive 10 APE shares. Better than an NFT dividend because there's no debate about APE status as a share equity. All shares of AMC will be verified, counted, because synthetic shares cannot receive a dividend. The prices of a preferred stocks are generally higher than Class A common stocks. This is not a dilution because it is a different ticker symbol and a different class of stocks. CEO Aaron and his team did this to counter the illegal activity of naked shorting of their company. Right? And this may become Overstock 2.0 in terms of a massive squeeze. All right, so that's explained briefly. There's nothing that you guys have to do. If you own AMC, whichever platform that you are on, you're going to receive an 8 preferred share. So August the 15th isn't this coming Monday, but the following Monday. So if you plan on buying any more shares, you would need to get them in by August the 15th. To be honest with you folks, I have no idea where the price action is going to be at because the stock market is reacting differently than what I had been thinking, and who knows how it's going to react during this time period. Now you remember, folks, I mean, it's people like this guy, this hedge fund manager who taunted apes with AMC Short Position. I dare all the meme stock maniacs to try to hurt us. That was on June 22nd. And that stock has not dipped below, I believe, from where it was at that point. So, yeah, they've gotten really hurt over this last week, especially for those who had to cover that week. Remember, I showed you guys, like, it was the day before the earnings call, they had 9 million shorts that they had to try to cover. So this is a blessing, and for those of you who have been waiting, who knows how this 8 preferred share stock is going to go. I mean, it could just surpass AMC stock, maybe hit 100, maybe hit 500, I don't know. Just for the simple fact that, first of all, look at the ticker symbol, APE. Everybody's going to want to own APE. Everybody's going to want to see it push past the price of where AMC is at right now. And as far as dealing with the wealth transfer, folks, eventually it's going to come, and there are different aspects to this wealth transfer. God has showed his people in the community different pricing points of where AMC is going to be at. And along the way, we are receiving these additional blessings. Really quickly, I want to touch on the SEC and what was that they are probing all the crypto exchanges, including Binance. And, one of the things that I've been sharing with you guys for a while now was telling you about regulations in South Korea, right? And the SEC, in my opinion, Gary Gensler, has overstepped their authority. But it's kind of weird because, remember, they were supposed to have stablecoin legislation passed in July, and they delayed it until later on. Why was that? Because all this news about the SEC going after all these different exchanges, Coinbase, and all that. But one of the things that, especially the Democrats, don't realize, the XRP community is really, really strong, and so is the cryptocurrency industry. If people who are involved in the stock market who vote Democrat, and I've been seeing this, that if the SEC continues what they're doing, and the Republicans are promising to investigate the SEC and Gary Gensler, well, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to start flipping their vote to Republican in the midterms. There's only, about 3 months left before, you can actually physically go in and vote, and that's the end. There's a lot of early voting and stuff like that. So if the Democrats really don't get this resolved, there's this underlying factor dealing with Democratic voters who are involved in the stock market and cryptocurrency markets. And if they feel like Gary Gensler is going the other way, they know that voting for Republicans in this midterm, right, is going to and try to flip the House to get these investigations going on the SEC and Gary Gensler. When I look at the timeline as a whole, folks, and we've tried to, over the last couple years, we've tried to put together this whole entire timeline of this wealth transfer. And this wealth transfer is not something that's going to happen in a week. It's not something that's going to happen in a month. This is something that's going to happen over a period of years. You have the wealth transfer dealing with the cryptocurrency industry and the different times it goes down to zero, and then it's going back up over 100,000 and all this, right? Then you have the fiat global currency reset, right? Then you have the reset that's dealing with the stock market. And that's just those three areas. There are other areas of the wealth transfer too as well. We talk about gold and silver, precious metals, but there are other areas too as well. And then even we talk about the Kim Clement 8 wells, right? When the dinar is the first well that kicks off. So that means then after the dinar revalues, there are still 7 more Kim Clement wells that might be different from all the wealth transfers that we're talking about, folks. There's a lot of different specific wealth transfers, and it's not something that's going to take, only a month to happen. These are things that are going to be happening over time. But I think what's going on here, to be honest with you folks, this is wrong what the SEC is doing because, none of the previous administrations did anything about this. Some of these exchanges have been operating under our government with no type of investigations, with no type of regulations. And then, unfortunately, Gary Gensler came in there and just coming down like a hammer on everyone. And there's a lot of suggestions that with all these different heavy fines going forth, that they are really raking up the dough as far as going after these cryptocurrency platforms. So that means every exchange is being shaken right now. And part of this, we talked about, getting some of your cryptocurrency onto a hard ledger. If there's going to be any other exchanges that are going to fall, it's going to be because of what the SEC is doing right now. Remember, we had Bitcoin drop down to 17,500. We've had all the issues with Celsius and Three Arrows Capital, and there have been exchanges that have closed down. Okay, and I believe also too Voyager is going to be opening up, from what I understand, that we could transfer your actual cash funds out of your account. Eventually, they will get to your crypto. So also there's this other issue that between the SEC and the CFTC as far as regulating crypto. So there's also this internal fighting within the government about who should regulate cryptocurrency. And obviously Gary Gensler feels like that it's under his wing. But you know what? We still haven't even dealt with all the issues with the hedge funds and the shorting and the transparency and everything else that needs to be taken care of in the stock market. And maybe they should let this other organization, the CFTC, regulate cryptocurrency. But, mainly this is all just dealing with because our government never really came together and, put any type of legislation. So, yeah, and I don't really know where this fits in with our timeline. Folks, I've looked over the timeline and tried to put some of the pieces together. And, I wasn't expecting the SEC at this point in time to really start investigating all the different cryptos and start filing lawsuits like against Coinbase and all this stuff. So we're just still taking this day by day cryptocurrency. It's just been kind of sitting there steady. It's not really moving. It's not really jumping one way up or down. And so we just sit back and we just wait. We take it day by day. Okay, so one thing really quick I want to talk about is the hard ledgers. Transferring to a hard ledger and then transferring your crypto back, depending on what it is, can be very costly. So this is one of the reasons why you have to sit back and think about which cryptos do I want to put on a hard ledger. XRP, XLM, you have all these other cheap options that don't cost hardly anything to transfer, like Dogecoin, right? But then when you get into certain other cryptocurrencies, it becomes expensive. make sure that you have your plan. And if your hard ledger includes that plan, because I'm more and more thinking more or less like a lot of the cryptocurrencies that cost nothing or hardly anything to transfer to a hard ledger, those are the ones that you could transfer back and forth without it really affecting your investment, right? There's a lot of other coins that are really expensive to transfer to a hard wallet. So you really need to think about when you get this set up. For me, I'm just keeping the ones that are too expensive to transfer over, I'm just going to keep on the exchange and in some type of sell limit order too as well. So that's just really some of my thinking and some of my thoughts. So you guys tell me what you think. So that's all that I have for today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.